welcome back to another episode of The Follow-Up. I'm Eden, this is my dad Noah, and every week we sit on my bed and have a conversation about something we want to talk about. So this week we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. Before we get into that, this is exactly 5 years since we recorded our first episode. We'll do a 5-year episode probably in June when it actually came out. Mm-hmm. But it's a big milestone.
It is. Yeah, 5 years ago. If you want to go back and listen to that first episode.
It was on COVID.
It was titled Coronavirus. It says Dad and Daughter Series Coronavirus. And I went back and listened to a clip. Maybe I'll include a clip on YouTube also for this. And from what you remember from the day that we took you out of school, which was that last Friday, before school shut down over the weekend, it's pretty wild to go back and listen to that. And I also do love listening to your kindergarten voice. I like your voice at every age, but I love that.
That is something I don't like listening to. I don't like my voice over the years. I think I sound extremely cringy.
Nah, not at all. So we're going to talk about NBA playoffs. You've got your bracket. We're recording this on Sunday. No, but I'll go off yours. Okay. Well, we're recording this on Sunday just after the first quarter of Game 1, OKC Memphis. Yesterday, there was Game 1 of Denver and the Clippers. Denver won Game 1.
Lakers, Pacers.
Lakers,
Pistons,
Wolves.
Right?
Lakers, Wolves. Staying in the West here. Lakers, Wolves. Minnesota took Game 1. And then in the East, Pacers beat the Bucks in Game 1. And the Knicks beat the Pistons in Game 1. So you did this. You filled this out last night. Let's go ahead. You run through it, and then I will respond whenever you're finished.
Okay. I'll start in the West because it's just in front.
Bring it up here. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I have Oklahoma City Thunder beating Memphis.
Yep. Okay.
I have Denver beating the Clippers, which I think was a game I was really thinking about for a little.
A series, you mean?
A series I was thinking about for a little.
Why?
Because I think a lot of people think the Clippers are going to win. Clippers are a strong team, but so is Denver. And I think that series could go both ways.
Yep, I think that's going to be a 7-game series. Okay.
It's also the 4-5. Then I have LA beating the Timberwolves.
Lakers beating the Wolves, okay.
Sorry. And then I have the Houston Rockets beating the Golden State Warriors.
That's going to be a wild one. The young kids against the vets, Rockets, Warriors, and I think Ime Udoka is a great coach. That's going to be a wild one, okay? And then continue in the West.
Also, the side of my bracket is kind of cut off.
No one's looking at it.
I know, but if I can't read it, okay.
You know, okay, so continue in the West.
Oh, okay. So then I have OKC Denver, and I have OKC winning. Mm-hmm. I'm also a big fan, so I'm a little biased. And then I have the Rockets beating the Lakers, so I have them beating the Vets again.
You're gonna live and die with that with the Rockets, okay? And then
I have OKC.
OKC representing the West. Okay, so get that young team. So you'd have the two of the youngest teams in the league playing each other in the Western Conference Finals. Cool.
I don't know.
All right.
And then
that kind of does seem like the theme out West is the vets against the young kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of really good young teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. East, Cleveland Cavaliers against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Cavs winning.
Okay.
Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Pacers.
Okay, 4-5.
New York Knicks, Detroit Pistons, Knicks.
Knicks needed everything
Boston,
they had yesterday.
Celtics.
Who are they playing? Orlando.
Okay, Orlando. I have Boston.
Okay.
Then Cavs Pacers. I have the Cavs. Knicks Boston. Boston.
It's going to be wild. Get the Knicks, the throwback to the 90s, Knicks Pistons, and then Knicks Celtics, two rivals in the East. Not like Sixers Celtics are rivals, but Knicks Celtics, okay?
I have Cavs Boston. I'm saying Boston OKC.
Okay, so the 2 beats the 1 in the East.
Yep. And I have OKC is champion.
OKC knocking off the defending champs. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go with OKC over Memphis. I'm still going to take the Clippers over Denver. I think the Clippers coaching staff is good enough to be able to figure this out, despite Denver now being undefeated since their coaching change. So now they're 4-0 since their coaching change. Jokic is just on another planet. But Russell Westbrook yesterday was, you were going to win the game because of him or you're going to lose the game because of him, and that is the full Russell Westbrook experience. Lakers Wolves. Despite after game one, I think Anthony Edwards was
Wait, who
was
won?
so good. The Wolves.
Oh,
I'll still go with the Lakers. Rockets Warriors. I think that ends up being a 7-game series, and I don't know. But
Choose someone.
I'm gonna go with the Rockets.
okay.
And I think the defense is what's going to do it. They don't shoot the ball well enough, but I think their defense is gonna be is gonna do
Yeah, and
enough.
they're building a new young team.
Yep. Okay, and then I'll take OKC, and then I would actually take the Lakers over the Rockets.
Okay.
Whew, maybe. Okay, and then OKC.
Yeah.
But I think Minnesota could beat the Lakers. I don't know. That's wild. Okay, and then I'll take OKC. In the East, I'll take the Cavs. Took the Pacers over the Bucks because of Lillard's injury. The Knicks, yep. Boston, Cavs. I'm with you. OKC, Boston, and I think Boston's gonna win the title.
Boo.
I know.
You're just no fun.
I know. But if they got to the title, if that was it, I would be. I'm not rooting for Boston.
No.
And I don't have that in my blood, given all those games I went to as a kid. And Philly, Boston were huge rivals
Right.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I went back though and was looking at some of the playoff series that the Sixers had when I was a kid, and I think the first ones I really remember is when they would play the Bulls. Before the Bulls got past the Pistons and then won titles, starting in '91, they would always beat the Sixers they beat the Sixers a few times in the Eastern Conference semis. And Jordan and Barkley were really good friends. And so I looked up the stats of this series in '89-90.
Yeah.
Jordan, in a 5-game series, well, they won
you
it
go to
in
this game?
5.
And you.
I may have been at one of the playoff games, but I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
My guess is yes, but I don't remember that it was a playoff game. Michael Jordan in the 5-game series played 43 minutes a game, averaged 43 points a game for the series, and he averaged 7.5 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and over a block a game.
That's
It's unbelievable. You just don't see
Great.
that now. Unbelievable stuff.
also players aren't playing 43 minutes
Right.
a game.
Unbelievable.
Either.
Just pull this up a little bit so you can have your microphone. Yeah. Unbelievable stuff. And then once the Sixers traded Barkley before the 92-93 season, then he went on to win the MVP with the Suns, go to the finals, losing 6 to the Bulls. That stretch, those are basically the years starting where you are now. And the Sixers ended up with like 5 coaches in 6 years.
Like
and
they're
they
just
didn't-
not doing well.
No, they didn't. And then they ended up getting Iverson, first pick in '96. And even before
game
that,
changer.
I remember they drafted Clarence Weatherspoon out of Southern Miss, and he was known as Baby Barkley. That was his nickname when they got him in the draft. That did not work out.
I have some of
And
his cards.
Spoon, yeah. And then I met him at Southern Miss a bunch of years ago when I was calling a game there. He was on the bench, so we had a nice conversation, which was cool for me. And then they got Iverson, and then things progressed from there. All right.
Playoffs in the West are a lot different than they are in the East. The West is, even if you're, let's say, 6th seed, you still have a lot more of a chance over the 3 seed than if you're the 6th seed in the East.
Right. So like the Wolves over the Lakers, better chance of that happening than Pistons over the Knicks.
Yeah.
But even look at the Warriors. Warriors sitting in 7. The Warriors gonna beat the Rockets in round 1. So you're saying that the depth of talent, it's deeper West than East.
Yeah.
And it has been for a while.
And the seeds, even if you're the 7th seed, you might only be 4 games behind
Good point.
3rd seed.
Good point.
So the seeds don't really matter in the West, I feel like.
That is a good
It's
point.
more
because
just
everything was
the
coming down
team.
to that final
Game.
day.
Yeah.
I mean, the Thunder
were
so far
locked.
above everybody else, but everybody else was pretty bunched up.
Yeah.
That it was a game here or there, and which would then show that maybe earlier in the regular season that all of those games do matter. That you can't just say, well, it's just a game in January and it's all right if they lose this game, because now look where things
Yeah.
were at the end, and maybe that changes some of the strategy then from
Yeah.
coaches. What was crazy this year was the Nuggets firing Mike Malone right before the playoffs. The Grizzlies firing Taylor Jenkins right before the playoffs. So
Who are their new coaches?
I don't even know their names.
They even have like a proper coach.
Yeah, they just
Really?
promoted. They
Oh.
just promoted internally.
Oh, okay.
But something you pointed out right before when we were watching the Thunder Grizzlies game, I thought was interesting about the playoffs. Something you noticed on TV that I thought would be interesting to relay.
What?
What did you notice?
I don't remember what I noticed.
You said that you think it's cool in a playoff game where they put T-shirts
Oh,
or towels.
Oh,
Now you
yeah.
can
Oh,
get-
now I can finish.
Yeah.
T-shirts or towels, so the crowd is unified, and there's so much more energy and intensity, and it's just a whole different environment.
Mhm. So everybody looks the same.
Even watching on TV.
Same color, looks cool.
Yeah.
Or everyone's waving the same color towel, or sometimes both. And each possession in the playoffs matters.
Yes.
And you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel
Yeah.
that intensity, but also then, like after Knicks Pistons yesterday, Pistons up 8 in the fourth quarter. Knicks go on that insane 21-0 run, and for the Pistons, that was their welcome to the playoffs moment. Young team, really good regular season, unbelievable turnaround from last year, new head
Yeah.
coach, but they never experienced the playoffs before, and now it's okay, so this is the playoffs, and it's hard to not take more away from just one game because you see things play out and it's so intense and it's so wild.
Yeah.
But again, it's just
One game.
It's just
You
one game.
Have technically 7 chances.
Well, you could, yeah.
Good.
I wish the playoffs go on. I love basketball. The playoffs go on too long.
Yeah.
I wish it went back to.
It's about a month.
2 months.
The playoffs are 2 months. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
right. 2 months. Yeah.
I wish it went back to best of 5 in the first round. So
Yeah,
first to
best of
3
seven's
instead
too
of.
long.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, sometimes a lot of them are blowouts or 5 games, and then you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, is there one series on each side, East and West, that in the first round that you're most looking forward to?
Oklahoma Grizzlies because I just really
Because you like OKC.
I like watching them. They're a fun team.
Okay.
They're both young, kind of young teams.
Okay. All right.
But if I'm looking for a good game, I'll say if I'm looking for a really good game, I would say Denver Clippers.
Yep, I agree. And in
that's-
the East? Nothing really in the first round.
Nothing.
I would say Knicks Pistons.
Yeah, but
Just because
nothing
it's going to
really.
be really physical. Yeah, I don't think any of that
No,
first round series is going to be that interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Pacers Bucks might be, but it's tough for me to get that pumped up over Pacers Bucks unless it's coming down to a game 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.